Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Freedom March. Yes, again, there is absolutely no reason to adjust your television set. I'm not Rodney Munker, but this is Leland Miller, and I'm here sitting in for Rodney Munker here on Freedom March this afternoon. Of course, as he always does, or as he has been doing, what's a good English? Or as he has been doing. Let me work on the English. The spiritual advisor is here to keep me safe throughout this broadcast and to make sure that I don't find myself in contravention of the Holy Book. So he's keeping me in line with good Holy Scripture and prayer and I think supplication maybe. Have we gotten to supplication yet?
We ain't got to that yet.
Maybe some supplication. We'll see what happens. And just in case you want to know, I want to make sure that I clear this up early. Today, spiritual advisor, I came dressed like a DNA. Because I believe that the revival of the DNA is afoot.
Where's the grain?
This ain't green? My spiritual advisor can't see.
That looks like olive, eh?
Well, olive is a shade of green.
So it's not DNA
So I'm
grain.
practicing my DNA
No,
signal.
DNA got
Spiritual advisor.
they got the money grain.
But that was when we had Brandville. But we ain't got Brandville no more. We ain't sure what's going on over there. So we had to bleach out the money grain a little bit.
Wow.
I going with the best color green I got. I practicing my DNA symbol. You know, I spent 30 years of my life as an I for Tanya F and M, right?
Wow. Okay.
But Tanya, I sorry. Today, I'm a DNA, right? Because there are all sorts of fancy things happening, and I'm so excited about them happening in the news today. Hiram Lewis. You know, I remember when we discovered Hiram Lewis. And nobody knew his name then. And I suspect if he didn't make the news today, no one would know his name either, right? But he's in the news today, spiritual advisor. Whole lot of exciting things are happening. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Spiritual advisor, what's been happening on the outside where you came from today?
It's a frenzy.
Yeah?
Today has been shocking.
Wow.
In the political circles. You know, where is this going? This is interesting.
Down a rabbit hole. That's where it's going.
Or can we see some more stuff happening very shortly?
Listen to me. So, okay, write these things down. You got to make sure you write them down to their in context. I believe that today, Lincoln Bean has eclipsed the political gymnastics and maneuvering of Hansel and Gretel. Who is Hansel and Gretel? Well, I affectionately refer to Branville McCartney as the political Hansel. And I refer to his successor, Arinthia Komalafi, as the political Gretel, because those two people politically were lost somewhere in the woods, and the crumbs could lead them to nowhere, right? And what we saw today, in one fell swoop, Lincoln Bean has eclipsed their political ability. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Leland Miller here, joined with the spiritual advisor who will give us Holy Scripture today to tell us what's going on with what we see happening in the political arena. Hiram Lewis, if you recall, nominated by the Free National Movement in 2016, right after Loretta Butler Turner snatched power from Minnis, right, as the leader of the opposition, you would recall. And I'll never forget it because I remember when they nominated him that night in a one-man nomination in Centerville. Where's their thing? That's not Centerville. Where's their thing? Marquis Street.
Oh, yeah.
The lone nominated person that evening, right? Frederick McAlpine spoke and say, tell them, give us back our damn nomination. I quoting him, right? Hiram Lewis was the golden child. So you're not going to convince me that Hiram Lewis is pulling this off by himself. Because in my view, spiritual advisor, Hiram Lewis has about enough political static energy to raise the hair on a Q-tip. He doesn't have any more than that, right? So what would make him pull off a stunt like this, except he was being, I don't know, massaged, cajoled, manipulated by someone with a big string somewhere who I suspect is Hubert Minnis. What does the Holy Scripture say?
He was being emboldened. But yeah, okay, so what we're going to do first, we're going to go to one passage and then, then we're going to look at Amos 3 verse 3.
Amos 3 verse 3.
For those who have a red Bible, it's a very powerful passage.
Okay.
But
I got to get me one of these red Bibles.
Yeah, you need a red Bible. It's very important. But before we get to that, of course, we're looking and continuing to look at the difference between the Old and New Testaments. A lot of folks probably don't realize that when they pick up their Bible, that this Bible has two covenants or two testaments. One is an Old Testament and one is a New Testament. And folks fail to realize how important it is to make a distinction between the two. Because one, of course, gives you an idea of what the old Mosaic system was like. And then emerging out of that system was a spiritual system of grace.
Sure.
That was introduced by Jesus Christ. And apparently, producer, if you got that passage for me, I want to show you where the spiritual system of grace is better than the Mosaic system.
Wow.
And this new covenant that Jesus Christ introduced is better and is built on better promises. So why on last week Friday, the young man called the show and he said, listen, man, I'm keeping all 613 of the old Mosaic laws. And he feels proud about it. But apparently I'm going to show you that you're keeping something that does not even exist. It's history. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6 to 13. Here's what the Hebrew writer says. Listen very carefully. And you need a red Bible. If you see a blue or purple one, don't get that one. Get a red Bible. And I'm not talking about an R-E-D Bible. I'm talking about an R-E-A-D Bible because you're going to have to read this. But in fact, the ministry Jesus has received is as superior to theirs, that's the Mosaic system, the Jewish law, as the covenant of which he is mediator is superior to the old one. Since the new covenant is established on better promises. Mark that. Let me go over that again. But in fact, the ministry Jesus has received is as superior to theirs, the Jewish system, the old law, as the covenant of which he is mediator is superior to the old one. The new covenant is superior to the old one, since the new covenant is established on better promises. Now here's the point. For if there had been nothing wrong with the first covenant, no place would have been sought for another. But God found fault with the people and said, hit me, producer, behold, the days are coming, says the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the people of Israel and with the people of Judah. It will not be like the covenant I made with their ancestors when I took them by the hand to lead them out of Egypt. Go and find out what that covenant is. Because they did not remain faithful to my covenant, and I turned away from them, declares the Lord. Flip me, producer. But this is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, says the Lord. This is the covenant I will establish with the people of Israel after that time, declares the Lord. I will put my laws in their minds, and I will write those laws on their hearts. And I will be their God, and they will be my people. No longer will they teach their neighbor or say to one another, know the Lord, because they all will know me from the least of them to the greatest. Flip me, producer. For I will forgive their wickedness and remember their sins no more. Watch this. By calling this covenant new, he has made the first one obsolete. By calling this covenant new, he has made the first one obsolete. And what is obsolete and outdated will soon disappear. I don't know what to tell you, but this is what the book says. So that covenant that Lord that the young man said he was keeping last week Friday, it's obsolete. And this word obsolete means it's been reduced to inactivity. It has no power at all. It's history. You can learn from it, but it's not in effect. It is obsolete and it's outdated. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6 to 13. You need a red Bible to see this. If you have another color, you won't see it. You need to get yourself a red Bible. This is the word of God, and we're thankful to Almighty God for it.
Well, praise the Lord.
Amos chapter, what is it now? Amos 3 verse 3? How can two
Walk together,
lest
they agree?
Unless
Man,
they
you
agree
touching my church, you go on.
unless they agree to do so.
Wow.
So if you ain't agreeing to walk together, you're not gonna get anywhere. Some folks use this illustration of marriage to two wings on a bird.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, in order for that bird to get off the ground,
Mm-hmm.
the two wings gotta work together.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, that bird ain't going nowhere. One wing could never get that bird off the ground.
Well, who agree with who, spiritual? Because this all kind of agreeing have to be going on now, right? Iram agree with Lincoln, Lincoln agree with Iram, or Lincoln and Iram agree with mystery person X that I believe is in the background.
Let me ask you a question, Levin. Mm-hmm. If you're in a relationship,
mm-hmm.
and the same as if your girlfriend or your wife
mm-hmm.
is only tolerating you
mm-hmm.
or appreciating you,
mm-hmm.
what would you do?
I would know that I was married to a Bahamian woman.
You understand the position it puts you in? But if you're in a relationship and they only tolerating you now, they don't appreciate you, they tolerate you.
No. Spiritual, you can't use the word tolerate that gently.
You're going to have to make a decision one day or the other.
What is his value? He's in Central Grand Bahama.
Does he have any?
No, he in an F&M safe seat, right? That he won.
Now that's what you're saying. Now what's the general consensus now? Because we got to get this from the constituents. He represents some people, you know.
Pre-2017, what Iram Lewis used to do? You want me to play the Jeopardy music jingle for you?
Ding, dong, ding.
Because I'm telling you, these people can't tell me. I think he was an athlete at one point, right? But he ain't Debbie Ferguson.
He's lousy, is what you're saying?
I say he ain't Debbie Ferguson is what I say.
He's lousy. He was a lousy.
That's how you
know what? Now, I can be honest. Now, before I get into that, see, I don't want to be responsible for saying things I'm not supposed to be saying, right? Honestly, I haven't been following him.
He ain't nothing to follow.
Oh, no, don't do that, man.
Oh, my goodness.
The people, he was elected. He's serving the people in Grand Bahama.
Firstly, if you look at the numbers in the election between 2017, when he was first elected, and 2021, versus the numbers of people that voted for him in 2021 when he was re-elected, you will see that there was a depreciation there. You will see that there was I think a three-way race down there where he lost quite a bit of votes to Anonium. Yeah? And so all I'm saying is...
So he just got by.
I'm not saying he get by. I'm saying I don't know if he have the wherewithal to get it done without a machine like the Free National Movement. When you consider people like the Reverend Frederick McAlpine, who I still publicly want to proclaim is the only man righteous among them.
There's none that is righteous.
He is among them. Among that F&M bunch from the last go,
no, not
Frederick McAlpine is the only righteous man among them.
I don't know. By what standard?
By the standard that he was the only one in the wilderness crying out, "Hear ye the voice of the Lord."
Okay. Well, if it's like that.
While a cabinet of elected members sat and allowed a man to become a totalitarian. One bunch of elected dudes was in this room, you know. They had spiritual advisor, which you refer to as elected power. which is something that should supersede collective power, which is what the cabinet has. Right? So one bunch of elected dudes, Michael Pintard included. That's why when people ask me if Michael Pintard have a chance of being prime minister, I reiterate, I don't think Michael Pintard have a Pintard, and I don't even know what that is. What I am saying to you is, they had an opportunity to oust Hubert Minnis if they thought he was that bad. It was a cabinet full of them. One bunch of elected people sat in a room while Bahamians' mortgages were going into crisis, collected salaries, and then handed over their elected responsibilities and power to one man. Hiram Lewis was in that bunch. What makes him righteous?
No, you can't blame them for that.
What spiritual advisor, what I can't blame them for?
No, you're wrong for that. Let me tell you.
Spiritual advisor.
You know how the F&M got Dr. Jimenez?
What do you mean if I know how he went?
Papa gave him to them.
Right, and Papa sent for Michael too. We obviously don't let Papa pick no more leaders.
So you gotta blame Papa.
And this is what I'm saying to you. And so just how that is an old play, I am calling this play the Loretta Butler 2.0. Loretta Butler's play was never a bad play, you know. Snatch power from the leader. What Lincoln Bain was able to achieve today, and I'm going to say this tacitly because he has achieved nothing. See, you can't say you don't believe in parties, so you are a coalition of independents, and then say the fella is the first member of the coalition of independents. You follow me? An atheist can't be a Christian because he don't believe there is a God. Levan Miller can't be a sissy because I don't believe that sissies are a real thing. You can't be a member of a party if you don't believe parties exist.
So the coalition of independents.
So you can't be the coalition of independents and a member at the same time. That don't make sense.
So the coalition of independents is a party that doesn't exist.
How will he be recognized inside the House of Assembly? As the independent member, you remember when Greg Moss tried this same thing and had this unregistered party called the UDP? And how was he recognized in the House of Assembly? As the independent member for Marco City. This fanfare that y'all got going on is about nothing. When he stands on his foot before the Speaker of the House of Assembly,
who will he be recognized?
He's going to be recognized as the independent member from Central Grand Bahama.
Okay, well...
and so unless they form a structured party and do all of the mechanics necessary to be recognized in the House of Assembly as a structured party, like we've had in the past with the BDP and the FNM and the PLP, all he going in there to do is clangle as an independent member. So why I believe he joined the COI spiritual, if you want to know, is because I tell you the boy has about as much political static as it takes to electrify a Q-tip. And he knows that if he walked out of the FNM, he would disappear in the parliament.
Well, he shares a different view from you. He shares a different view. His thing is, I can't decide to go and build up what I once tore down.
He could decide to just stand in there as an independent.
So he said, well, I can't cross the floor.
He could decide to stand in there as an independent. Whitney Bastian has done it. Huh? Greg Moss has done it.
He may not survive.
Frederick McAlpine has done it. And Frederick McAlpine did it and took the licks for 2 years as an independent and said, listen, man, we are going in the wrong direction. And he, from the mountaintop, he screamed, you all cuss the reverend out.
But only certain people could ever survive as independent party, independent person.
And I'm trying to tell you that in the House of Assembly, the COI will not be recognized as the COI in there. I don't think they've done the footwork to get it done. And when he's recognized in the parliament, he'll be recognized as the independent member for Central Grand Bahama. And I'm telling you that I think it is tongue-in-cheek to say you support a coalition of independents. See, maybe you all support the coalition of, what is it? INDEPEN, what is it? DNCE? And not IN spell independence. You know how to spell it.
No, sorry.
You all probably a coalition of independents and not a coalition of independents. No. You follow my point?
Yeah.
And because the two cannot exist. Now, this is why I come dressed as a DNA today. Because I can tell you what might exist.
You ain't got on the right grain.
I tell you, we only was money grain when Brown was there. I ain't sure if we still got money. Orinthia Komalafi, the political Gretel, sank the ship. The ship took on water and was on fire all at the same time. And then the captain jumped off and leave it with the fellas beating up one another in the mess. Right? So, here's what I believe is going to happen.
Why did he do this? Something is going on, man.
Because him, Hubert Minnis, Desmond Bannister, Renwood Wells, Branville McCartney and Kwesi Thompson going to go and carry their FNA into the parliament as the new party. See, they can't be the Free National Movement, but they can't be the DNA. But what they could be is the Free National Alliance.
I don't think Kwesi Thompson's involved.
If they... Spiritual advisor, let's talk about sense now.
Not crazy.
Spiritual advisor, let's talk about sense.
Kwesi Thompson, he ain't that crazy.
Spiritual advisor, let's talk about sense. You think I can sit in a room and let them talk and conspire about how they ain't gonna nominate my uncle, and I ain't gonna go tell my uncle?
So then
we gonna have to get rid of Kwesi because we can't let him be in the room. So when we decide that we ain't nominating Minnis, you think Minnis can run as an independent?
So then we just need to look at who's most likely not to be nominated.
I can tell you now. Minnis.
We know that.
Kwesi.
No.
Hiram.
No, Kwesi, I don't think Kwesi, he's escaped. I don't think he's not the equation. Yeah, he's not in that. I got it from some good source. He's not in that. So
spiritual advisor.
Gibson from Long Island, Dr. Minnis, Hiram Lewis, and who's the fourth?
I'm so glad you called Adrian Gibson's name. Let me tell you why. Because if Michael Pintard have any sense, he would tell Adrian Gibson, boy, they done steal our thunder with this foolishness. Take the knee and appoint someone to run in Long Island now. That way you could beat
they're not
Brave.
Gonna run him. They're not going to run him.
I'm saying to you, don't wait till election. Because what benefit does Adrian Gibson bring to the party right now?
None.
Zero. Fantastic. It's only $28,000 in salary. He can't need that. Isn't he a lawyer? Great. So, tell him, son, take the knee. Brave can't beat them in Long Island. Brave just give you a shellacking in West End. You agree?
Yeah.
You ain't break the government's momentum or stride 1/2 a stitch in West End. You with me?
Okay.
So you run, you tell Gadrian, boy, we do all we could to keep you out of jail. See what you could do for yourself, right? Then you run somebody that the people like. I don't know who that'll be.
Probably Dr. Sands.
That's who I would want it to be, but they could say I bias if I say that, right? So the spiritual advisors say, run Dr. Sands in Long Island.
Dr. Sands, yeah.
But at least you'll stand a chance. Because if you all care this, Michael Pintard, Shannon Doncard writing, the FNM will be a vapor after the next general election. You can't even convince Hiram Lewis to stay in the party, and Hiram Lewis has no political collateral. He can't go there and start nothing on his own. When people like Gregory Morse them left, I don't know where you hang out, but in the circles I hang out in, people were saying things like, boy, maybe Greg could be prime minister, When people like Frederick McAlpine left the Free National Movement, outside of the fact that I ain't sure if Bahamians want preachers to be head of states, people were saying things like, boy, Mark might have what it takes,
So, something's going on. Now
I just told you what's going on.
So who's not going to be nominated again now? Dr.
Kwesi.
Minnis. Boy, I believe Kwesi escaped, right? So Dr. Minnis, Adrian Gibson, Hiram Lewis.
See that you can't even say Hiram. He named Hiram. He wouldn't name him Hiram.
It's IRAM, right? Now who's the fourth person?
Kwesi. Anyway, you don't have to believe me, but I'm telling you, they pulling the FNM, the Loretta Butler Turner 2.0 spiritual advisor. Believe what you want.
Wow.
I getting in the FNA early with my grain, and I'm not listening to you. When the FNA emerges, just know that Levan Miller was there first, Lincoln. I can need a spot. And when Dr. Minnis takes over the party, the FNA will have their chance at the parliament.
Boy, this is some interesting stuff.
I can guarantee it. I can guarantee a spiritual advisor. So listen to the names. Minnis, Bannister, Parker. I think they're going to get Parker because they always want one woman. Wells, Thompson, McCartney. Watch it. Watch they start the FNA spiritual advisor. It's the same plan Brown had.
Free National Alliance?
This is the same plan Brown and Loretta had originally, but Brown, I tell you, he's the political Hansel. That boy can't navigate himself politically out of a wet brown paper bag, and that is why the plan didn't work the first time. But guess what? His cousin has revamped the plan, and he got plenty money to spend, and he got prime ministerial influence, and a whole cabinet full of fellas to pick from. Thank you so much for staying with us. Welcome back. I want to promise you all that I try in my best to see the clock. All right? Stay with me. But I'm joined, leaving Malaysia. I'm joined with the spiritual advisor. The spiritual advisor, I want to say that you're a hit everywhere I go, by the way.
For spiritual reasons, I hope.
Well, I don't know. All I know is the gals in the building I've been to today at Place X on the corner of Carmichael Road at Blue Hill Road asked me about the spiritual advisor.
All right, great. Do they need some spiritual advice?
I don't know. I don't know what all they need spiritual advisor. I'm from the Church of God. I'm not really sure what gals in a building need.
I can give them spiritual advice.
I don't know. But they said, make sure to tell the spiritual advisor hello. So see,
hello,
I've done
ladies.
my part.
How y'all doing?
Now, spiritual advisor, I want to say this to you also. Whenever you talk about these fellas around here, you have to always be very mindful that they're very touchy guys. And so from time to time, I like to make sure that I always have my special mugshot prepared, because no matter what you look like, when they put up your picture on the wanted thing, they always get the best mugshot.
Absolutely.
So I just so you all know, you all don't have to pick the mugshot. I want to give you all official.
Turn sideways.
This is my official mugshot. So please put this one on my most wanted poster. I'd be happy to have it. But that is what I looked like while I was on my radio sabbatical.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Before my friends at Island Connect found me.
You've been into the wilderness.
And now I look like this. And isn't it a wonderful transition?
You put razor on your face and hair now.
Well, I ain't the boys' them name. I ain't the Hebrew boys.
Prior to that, you took the Nazarite vow.
No. I was in the wilderness. I was in the wilderness on a little fast for clarity. And again, Island Connect found me, and now I look like this. But that is my official wanted poster photo. This is the one I want you all to use if you all decide to use political manipulation to go remind somebody that maybe I may have knocked down a puppy when I was 6. Yeah. Right? That's the picture in case the police are looking for me. Anyway, let's get back to it. So, spiritual advisor.
I think we got a commercial.
We have a commercial?
We have a
commercial? Let's get to the commercial.
Let's do a commercial quickly. Are your dogs hungry and tired of low quality food? Give them the best at Modernistic. We carry all the top brands. Taste of the Wild, Diamond Naturals, Victor, Anushu, all at the lowest prices in town. So if you're on a budget, we've got 50-pound bags starting at just $49. And for a limited time, buy any large bag of dog food and get a $10 coupon redeemable on select dog toys and treats. If you can't make it in, shop online at www.modernisticgarden.com and we'll deliver right to your door. Your pet deserves quality. Your wallet deserves savings. Shop in store or shop online today. Hurry, offer won't last.
All right, so if you got dogs or pets, go there.
Modernistic.
Go to Modernistic and get you.
Indeed.
So, spiritual advisor.
Listen, I am not a prophet.
No?
But I will predict.
Okay. So this is a prediction, not a prophecy.
Listen to me. I am not a prophet. By no stretch, form, or imagination. I'm not a prophet.
Sure.
But I will predict that we may have an early election.
You won't need to predict that, spiritual advisor. I've been telling you that.
I believe we're going to have...
So you perceive that I am a prophet then?
Well, who am flesh and blood revealed that to you, or was that revealed to you by the Spirit?
I believe it was the Spirit. Now, I like to drink gin every now and again, and so it depends. Depends on which spirit.
It's that spirit. Wine and spirit.
Hey, well, David used to drink wine and then dance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to be like David a little bit, right? So you tell me yesterday, if I figure out a way to make women attracted to me, I'd be in like Jesus. And if I drink wine and dance, I be in like David. And David is a man after who?
God's own heart.
I ain't going wrong yet. I still comfortable in the scripture.
But I smell it. It seems as if we're headed towards an early election.
I could tell you when it could be. It could be, I could tell you know how they like to play with the number, right? So it have to be May, because Ingram, Christie, and Davis done agree that, right? And it could be 2026.
I'm thinking this year.
So hold on. So 6 and 2 is 8, and 0 is 8, and 2 is 10. And you know they say the PLP number is 10, and they know they will never ever play with May 10 again because they remember that shellacking they get in 2017 for touching that sacred date. Do not touch it, Brave. Don't listen to them. So they can go May, because May is January, February, March, April, May, 5. And 5 is how much? 10. It's going to be May 5th, 2026. You check the date.
You think so?
You perceive that I am a prophet?
Okay.
You perceive that I am a prophet.
All right,
and so,
we'll see.
And so let me tell you what has to happen now. What has to happen now is Hiram Lewis. I mean, imagine Hiram Lewis just trying to carry the radical agenda of the COI into the parliament. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. So what has to happen now is, and you know, this is how you know Michael Pintard ain't prepared to be leader. Michael Pintard even ain't got somebody he could rush a rally up and nominate tonight, which is what Minnis did when Loretta snatched the power from him, remember?
Well, I'm sure they do have folks who they want to nominate.
Who?
I'm sure of that.
I know all the people they think about nominating, and all they doing is dangling the carrot for them.
I don't know.
I just told you what I know. I know all the people they think about nominating, and the only thing they've been doing so far is dangling the carrot. Because if you want to nominate me, why you need me to stand up like I in kindergarten and say, hi, my name is Levin Miller. I am 39 years old, and I want to run to be the member for South Beach. Why I need to do that? If you already know it's me, you won't.
Well, they explain what that program was all about. Yeah, you're trying.
And you believe them?
Well, I mean, look at the logic behind it. You're
There
trying.
was none. Essay. What is the purpose?
Yeah, but now which party actually sends anybody out there to represent people? No party does that. You have to make
I
sure.
know if I understand the
Well,
question.
you have to make sure you send the best out there. So what I think the party's doing now, and I noticed, like, say, for instance, in Southern Shores, right? Mm-hmm. You have 3 people doing some door-to-door in Southern
2.5.
Shores. All right? You got
2.5.
you got 7 million, 500.
Half.
So you got Miriam Emanuel, right? You have Donnelly Penn
1.5.
and Jamal Moss. So you
Jesus, I thought you said 3. They only got 2. That's
no, they got 3 people. They got 3 people.
you know.
They got 3 people.
You know, Tanya Stevens have a song for that, you know.
Trying to paint the town red, huh?
You know that? Tanya Stevens have a song for that, you know. Tanya say, if you see me a flex with 3 different man, just remember 1 is half and 2 is quarter and that equal to 1. You remember that song? Or you too saved?
No, I don't.
If you
like
see me flex with 3 different man, remember 1 of them is half and 2 is quarter and that add up to 1. Call the names again for me.
You have Miriam Emanuel.
Quarter.
You got Jamal Moss.
Quarter.
And Donnelly Penn.
Half. So now they have 1 whole candidate.
Wow.
Yeah,
I won't do it that way.
What you want me to say, spiritual?
No, I just have I don't think that's the right thing to do to people. You know what I mean?
What is the right? What?
They're in the constituency.
Why Miriam ain't going back to my God? For the same reason.
That's an excellent question.
For the same reason, Bazi Ronks ain't going back. Or I can't call him Bazi Ronks because he in the cabinet. But if he wasn't in the cabinet, I was calling him Bazi Ronks. You mean for the same reason Basil McIntosh ain't going back?
It'll be wise for her understanding what's going to happen with my God. If Shane Gibson runs, more than likely he's going to win.
No, but if you say you did a wonderful, fantastic job and that COVID was difficult and that people voted against you unfairly because they didn't get an opportunity to see what the economy would look like once it rebounded, and the PLP just happened to benefit from all of the things that the FNM did while they was in power, and all of the prosperity that we see as a country is because of the work of the FNM, right? That's what Kwesi Thompson's saying, right? Well, now that the people have had an opportunity to consider it, now that the people have had an opportunity to see what the economy has done, and you could say, well, that's because of the policies we left in place, which is what Michael Pintard like to say. Every time Jomo Campbell get up and say, I plant a cabbage, Michael Pintard say, I did plant them seed long time. I grow some carrot. Michael Pintard say, they the seed we did buy, right? So since that seems to be your play sheet, all you could go back in Michael and say, Michael, any success that you all had with Basil McIntosh? That's the success I leave in place, and see if it resonates. I don't think it will, but you could try it.
Yeah, but getting back to the program that the FNM decided they was going to roll out for all aspiring candidates, to me it makes sense, because even Jesus did not send out any and everybody. As a matter of fact, give me a second now. Give me a second. Before the apostles went out, he empowered them. You have to be
You're talking
equipped.
about the book of, was that Mark?
You're looking at the gospel, and then of course the book of Acts on the day of Pentecost. They received the power, and once they received the power, they went out.
Sure.
So you got to make sure people are equipped, especially if you send them a message.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be a message that resonates and a message that will get across.
When did the disciples?
So that people could respond.
When did Jesus and the disciples cross over the Galilee? and the storm came and Jesus was sleeping in the boat. That's Mark?
No, that's the book of Matthew, I believe.
Matthew.
If
I think
I'm
it's
not
Matthew
mistaken.
is correct.
Yeah.
You're right. Matthew, right?
Yeah.
You know what Jesus did right before they get in the boat? Jesus appointed people. Jesus said, you could be the head disciple. Peter, I was Peter the rock.
I'll go and check the record. I'll go and check
the record.
Yeah, I'll
right?
check the record. But you
Jesus
seem to have from the
know
program.
who all he want on the team. Jesus didn't say, Peter, you stand up and tell me who you is. Hi, my name is Peter, and I
can't see over the from the program though. I don't understand that because the PLP does the same thing.
I think it was stupid then too. I told them I couldn't understand how the PLP convinced people, and I'm very glad you say this. I can't understand how the PLP convinced people to come and sit in a classroom, to take a module, to take a picture on the side of Philip Davis with a certificate in my hand and say, and that ain't stupid, that's very stupid. That's like picking up a fella through a corner where you know they sell drugs, and you know he to sell drugs, and you pick him up in the police car at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you drop him back off in the police car with sirens blaring and motorbike escort 3 o'clock that evening, drop him right by the dope shop and say, all right, Pookie, we can check you next Friday. Thanks very much, man. Same concept, spiritual advisor. It is stupid. Now, what I do agree with, and tell me if you agree, is that they should actually start what do they call them? A PEP. They should start a PEP tax. You disagree?
Meaning what?
Politically exposed person tax.
Okay.
So, here's what I believe. I believe gone are the days where you should be able to duck down and tell the engines cut on, and then you come out and say, oh, I's a PLP, oh, I's a FNM, nominate me, nominate me, nominate me. Right? And you duck and tuck tail for 4 years, and no one know your political beliefs, persuasions, or none of that for 4 years. And I talk about things like this with my smart friends like Obi, right? I believe that when you decide that I, Bradley Rule, use Bradley S. Rule?
G.
Bradley G. Rule, want to represent the people of Southern Shores because I'm magnificent, and why wouldn't they vote for me, right? I think you should have to go by the Registrar General's office, put yourself down as a politically exposed person, because now you're going to go knock on people's door and go in people's yard and come to all kind of people barbecue and take pictures with people, baby. You agree?
Right, okay.
I think the public have a right to know who are the persons in the society that have political ambition. I think whenever you allow a party to decide that it can make me take a picture in the front of the party headquarters holding the party certificate talking about I do some silly module, that all you doing is branding people so they can't run against you.
So what's the politics? We vote party or persons? What do we do?
You ain't give me a chance. If I did the PLP's module today, how would I convince anybody that I wasn't trying to get a PLP's nomination? Why would I let the PLP do that to me? Why would I let the FNM do it? Why would I stand up in the front of a camera and say, hi, my name is Levan Miller. I'm 40 years old. I would like to run in the constituency of South Beach because I believe. That makes sense? That don't make no sense, Bridget.
All right, so let's see if they're going to change it.
So you should have a politically exposed person tax.
Okay.
And if you want to be a politically exposed person, you pay $1,000 a month or $200 a month or $400 a month into the treasury. Let me tell you why. Because magically, all y'all has become millionaires anyway.
Well,
You disagree?
It shouldn't be that way. I mean, yeah, I've seen some people get rich.
Magically. Some of
No.
them even ain't never had no other job. But magically,
You
they
don't
is a
get
millionaire.
rich magically, okay?
Well, so you say they thief then?
KB. that's how it works.
So either it was magic, or they take the money out the fish mouth, or they thief it. Which one of those three things you want to believe?
I don't know if they thief the money, you know? The money's just find a way to get right.
So that's magic.
Yeah.
So magically,
yeah.
they just become millionaires.
Yeah.
So since being exposed to politics in the Bahamas magically makes you a millionaire, right? While you are in opposition and even while you are in public life, you should pay the politically exposed person tax.
$400 a month?
Man, you could be a millionaire. Don't worry about that. This like we can call it political tithe.
Oh.
So you pay your $400 every month because you're gonna be a millionaire. And that's the way it works. So you pay that. That way, anytime I want to know all the persons in my country with political ambition, I could simply go and look at the politically exposed person list. I think the way we do politically exposed people in this country is kind of stupid, right? I go into a bank to take $20 off. The bank asks me if I politically exposed. Well, I don't know. I had a beer with a MP sitting next to the bar. I know if I was politically exposed then or not. What do I have to do to be politically? Is it like COVID? Can I see the political exposure? It's a stupid question. That's what it is. Because unless you could qualify or quantify my exposure, then the exposure doesn't exist. And so when I say no, what you could do?
Well, there's nothing you can do, basically.
That's my point. That's why it shouldn't be on a questionnaire. Are you a politically exposed person? No. Now what?
Give you some political exposure.
And I feel like the best way to do that, Michael Alkitis, is to implement a new tax. You want to be politically exposed in this country? No problem. No one guessing that no more. The 4 years you spend in the wilderness of opposition, make sure you have your taxes paid or you can't run. When nomination day come, we will know how long have you been a politically exposed person. And remember now, you can make anything the law. So don't tell me this is impossible. Just make it the law. Right?
That won't work in our society.
What would stop it from working for
the political landscape we have now, that's not going to.
It's easier to become.
We don't operate that way. I mean,
it's easier to become a nominated person in a political party around here than it is to become the pastor of an eccentric worship church around here. You know, in order to be the pastor of a local assembly, all you need to do is find some grass with nothing on it, pitch a tent, put up a stage, and find 6 people who will come. You could be a pastor.
Well, those 6 people that you pick, more than likely.
Your wife, your 2 children.
Okay, so you're looking at family.
And then your 2 children cousin.
And then it grows from there.
No, it don't grow. Somebody you never drive by somebody's church. Only 6 people in
nowadays it just grow. And I don't know if they got miracle grow, but it's grow.
So the political exposed person tax, I think, is a wonderful way to take out the party politics of it, right? I shouldn't have to align myself with the PLP or have to align myself with the FNM in order to be a considered candidate.
Okay.
Why can't I pay a politically exposed person tax? The Registrar General could run whatever this module is that the PLP and the FNM just run, right? I have to pledge no allegiance to nobody. That way I get to sit down and fundamentally think, what are my differing views between the PLP, the FNM, the FNA, because they coming back. And if I want to be an independent like Lincoln and be one bunch of independents in the House of Assembly.
So now with Hiram Lewis' decision today.
He named Hiram.
Hiram Lewis, right?
Right, that's the mommy name him.
No.
You don't even know his name. You see that?
What does that do for the politics as far as the FM is concerned?
The same thing adding water to the ocean would do.
Absolutely nothing.
Very nothing. The FNM isn't taking traction. The COI has traction. But I don't know. Have you seen the people over there? I don't know if people necessarily trust the whole bunch. Is Hiram going to be offered leadership? See, and this is where Lincoln outmaneuver Arintia Komalafi and Branville McCartney. Because them 2 people couldn't stop tripping themselves down over something as silly as an invisible leadership when the party constitution stated they have to have a convention every year or 2 years. Bran could have offered leadership to Loretta, right? You remember Branville McCartney come out on the news. I tell you, this guy, politically, Hansel. Loretta Butler come on the news and say, oh yeah, me and Branville McCartney have been in talks for months about this maneuver that we have afoot here, and in short course, you will see the happenings of those conversations. Boy, on the next clip, Bran come out and say, I never talked to Loretta. The clip right behind that was Branville McCartney accepting the Senate nomination.
Right.
So, well, how you all get to that if you and her never talk? What was supposed to happen, spiritual advisor, is Loretta was supposed to snatch power for minutes. They probably was talking about it over drinks, and O'Brien tell her, you can't pull that off. And she say, watch me. And if I pull it off, I will lead the DNA. And Brian say, yeah, pull it off, let me see. And what do you know? Loretta Butler pull it off. Now, Brian had to reel that back in, right? Because he would prefer to be leader of nothing than deputy leader of the opposition. And had they done that, the PLP would have not had a fighting chance in 2020, what was that, 17.
2017, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But because they couldn't stop tripping over themselves, he completely blowtorched that idea. The DNA came out of that with nothing. Thank God Loretta Butler found one political life raft to jump on. Thank God people like Rodney Munker found a political life raft to jump on, right? And the DNA started taking on water from that point. Then they give it to Gretel, who just run the thing right under the water. The DNA, think about this.
So where's Gretel now?
She's the standard bearer right here on the list of standard bearers for Carmichael Road. You ain't got the list.
Yeah, Free National Movement.
I don't understand what collateral that brings. She's already proven that she could completely obliterate an entire political organization.
So then she's found a political lifeline to get on as well.
Dino raft though. That's like a piece of floating plywood out to sea.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I tell you, you sound like a PLP.
I just told you what I am, spiritual.
Anyway.
I am an FNA. That's what I am. So when Lincoln them start this party, when y'all see me get my nomination, I ain't want to hear nothing from y'all because I predicted it twice.
So does Hiram Lewis officially become the leader of the COI?
No.
Because he has a seat.
That don't matter. Remember, Tommy Turngus was the leader of the Free National Movement, and he had no seat. As a matter of fact, can I say this to you? I feel like Hiram Lewis, see, you got me calling him Hiram and all that. I feel like Hiram Lewis' wife could take all the Sergio Deos and throw them outside just so he could understand what never having a seat feel like again.
So you don't think this was planned?
I don't even think he got no seat home. You ain't hear me?
You don't think this was planned, though?
He could plan anything he
This
want.
could have been carefully orchestrated. Something else going on with this.
I just told you what's going on, spiritual advisor. Hubert Minnis is preparing himself not to have to run as as an independent when he doesn't get nominated. So when Michael Pintard don't nominate him, he can say, well, what do you know? My cousin have a whole party over here that they ain't have no leader, right? And my cousin ain't got no seat, so he can't fight me for leadership now. And I saw the light. You know, I told someone sometime, but I could call her name, you know. I told Gretel sometime back that this same plan could have worked with Dwayne Sands. Remember, we had Dwayne Sands fired from the cabinet. McAlpine resigned from the party.
Right.
Vaughn Miller resigned from the party, right? Travis Robinson had been fired. The Progressive Party at that time was only made up of 4 people. Remember that? Mm-hmm. The whole PLP could have come to Parliament in a Suzuki Swift in 2017. You agree?
There's only 4 members.
And it wasn't even nobody tall there. The whole party was 4 small people in Parliament.
Glenys Hanamart was one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I tell you, they could have come to the 4 of them could have come together in a Suzuki Swift to Parliament every Wednesday. And Gretel had an opportunity to snatch that. Brent Simonet had resigned the cabinet. Do you remember this?
I'm trying to recollect.
And the only thing she had to do was not lead nothing. The DNA was nothing. And she decided to lead that straight into the abyss. But now, Hubert Minnis is back. And he here, y'all ain't nominating him. And Hiram here, y'all ain't nominating him. And I know Renwood here, they ain't nominating him. Because I say for Tanya F and them, and I hear that, right? And Desmond Bannister.
Yeah, all the Minnis boys, he ain't checking for them.
Right, but what you have to take into consideration, spiritual advisors, Minnis has an entire cabinet in his Rolodex. You think if Frankie called Minnis called Frankie, he ain't going?
Oh, Frankie Campbell?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll come. I believe.
You think if he called Renwood Wells ain't going?
Yeah.
I tell you something that may blow smoke out of you. Boy, if he call he birthday twin, he going too.
Who's that?
You don't know who Dr. Minnis' birthday twin is?
Born the same day.
Mm-hmm. Them two cut cake together and all.
I'm trying to remember.
I like him too much to call his name, but he know who he is. And if Minnis call him, he gone. And Michael Pintard will be further up this little creek with a short paddle.
So in essence, no matter what happens, your thing is that the Free National Movement doesn't stand a chance.
Either they will give it back to Minnis, or Minnis will sink the entire ship. And as a matter of fact, here's what I'm predicting. You say, God will let you drink 4 beers. Fine, I'll put a 4-beer bet on this.
No, I won't do that. I don't like.
That you
I don't like beers.
Well,
I prefer to drink what Jesus drank.
Wine?
Jesus drank.
I'll put a 2-bottle of wine bet on this.
The 2 glasses of mother Pratt.
If they keep Pintard.
No, not 2 bottles of wine.
If they keep Pintard,
I want 2 glasses.
I
want 2 glasses of mother Pratt. That's fine.
All right.
Okay.
That they'll come up with less seats under Pintard. Anyway, don't go anywhere. It's Freedom March, Leaving Miller, the spiritual advisors here. We're going to be right back after the break. Good day, welcome back. Thank you for staying with me. Leaving Miller here on ILTV Studios. Joined with the spiritual advisor who's trying his best to keep me safe. I don't know if that's working out pretty well, but we'll see what happens.
Just got to keep
right?
working at it. Rome was not built in a day.
Indeed, and besides, what was Peter without Jesus, eh?
It's amazing.
Yeah, so spiritual advisor.
What are we without Christ?
Every time you see me going off the
Completely
line,
lost.
you just ask, what would Jesus do? And keep me back on
Exactly. What
All right?
did Jesus say and do is correct.
So, for those of you that are listening on radio, I'm not sure if we're back on radio yet, so I want to apologize if we're not on radio. But if you are on radio and you could hear me, I want you to raise your right hand. If not, everyone is listening to me either on TV or on the ILTV Studios page on Facebook. I want you to please call your friend on radio, right? Don't tell them that they can't hear us on radio today. Just let your phone line stay open so that they can listen to us, because we want them to be a part of the show. The gals in the building on the corner of Carmichael Road and Blue Hill Road today also told me, spiritual advisor, that they don't think they should have to find a computer to log on to Facebook to listen to us, because they want to listen to the spiritual advisor on the radio. I tell you, use a hit.
103.5 FM.
Yeah, but I think
They can download it too if they want to.
we were having, and you could listen to us on the radio app.
Yeah.
103.5 FM on the internet. So, spiritual advisor, I understand that somebody is accusing me of mischief making. How do you feel about anything I've said? Does it sound mischievous to you?
That's why, see, I'm telling you. And don't forget.
Put back up my my fugitive photo. If by chance I miss and he ain't pay NIB, right? If by chance I owe NIB some money or something, and y'all want to put up a most wanted flyer for me for either missing a single payment of NIB that I'm unaware of, or my shotgun is also licensed, so I don't think I have that problem. I don't know what y'all could come up with. But here is my fugitive picture that I'd like y'all to use when y'all put up the most wanted flyer. But I come to tell the truth. I went to a funeral of an 80-year-old.
Sometimes it isn't what you say, you know. It's how you say it. I'm telling you, I think this
I
person...
said that Jesus said.
This person was rubbed the wrong way by the way you said what you said.
I said, if Hubert
Because he's
Minnis
accusing you
starts
of
a
being
party,
mischievous.
if Hubert Minnis starts a party, I suspect, reasonably, you know, in psychology, they would call it a hypothesis, right? So my hypothesis on the matter is that if Hubert Minnis called his cousin and said, I would like to take over your party that has no leader, that you allow this woman to run into the ground, his cousin would say yes. I also hypothesize that if he called his cabinet from his Rolodex, you think they delete their number? No. If Minnis call them, they're going to answer, and they're probably going to answer him and say, hey, PM, how could I help? And he could tell them, boy, Brian had one party over here, but he let Gretel run it in the ground, and you know, I claim to make an additional $2 million even in the pandemic. So since I have this extra $2 million, which is his public declaration, by the way, before you all say that I accusing him of that, I might as well use this $2 million to see if I could rebrand the party. What you can call it, Chief? Think you can call it the DNA? No. Gretel didn't kill that. We can't use that no more. Well, what you can call it, Chief? And plus, if I call it the DNA, Hansel might come back for it. Well, Chief, what you could call it? We can call it the FNA, and we carrying our FNA all the way to Parliament.
And what's the FNA?
The Free National Alliance.
Okay, so I was right when I said it.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Free National Alliance. And they can't tell me that if that possibility comes, they like car with siren on it, you know.
Okay.
They like people holding door. They like people holding umbrella. They like drinking room temperature water that somebody just take the cover off like you can't open your own water.
So that is what you've reduced our politicians to.
What? The people who like open door for them? You ever see how they wait till someone open the door for them?
Oh, Lord. So we have this thing twisted. If you're a minister, you're a servant. You're not to be served, you're to serve.
I know one thing, someone better open that door. And depending on who the minister is, allegedly, you better stand up when they come in the room. So spiritual advisor, I don't know. So if they think I being mischievous, all I asking them to do, you know the number when the show cut on, just call me a liar. Tell me on public radio that if you get the phone call that there's a viable party being led by Dr. Hubert Minnis, that you will not join that party. Could say it on public radio. So when you call me back and that is not the truth, I could call you a liar. Simple.
But of course, it does seem as if we're getting into the height of what is
Who
called
would I be picking mischief for, spiritual
political
advisor?
silly season.
Who would I be picking? I told you I'm an eye for Tanya FNM. So who would I be picking mischief for?
I don't know. Only God knows the hearts of men. I can't tell you.
Yeah, but we could hypothesize about anything. Can't we? I could what if you into the moon, and if I was in a government meeting, I could perhaps you from here to the moon. You know that's the code word in government for the meeting to be 2 hours long. You know that?
To the moon.
No. Anytime someone say perhaps in a government meeting, this is going to be a 2-hour meeting.
Okay.
So anytime you hear somebody say, and well, perhaps we could 2 hours. The word perhaps is a curse word in government meetings. I learned that. I didn't always know that. Yeah. So if they say that I'm picking mischief, then I say to them, state it publicly on air, that if that possibility arose, you would not take it. Say that publicly.
Producer, we got some birthdays, right?
We got birthday shout-outs?
Yeah.
Let's get the birthday
All right,
shout-outs.
let's do this quickly. I'm so sorry we lost track of that. Here we go. We got Sandy Johnson is celebrating the birthday. Happy birthday to Sandy Johnson. It's coming from your mom, Nivolia, your daughter, Tania, your brothers, Timothy and Renato, sister-in-law, Shalicia Johnson, nieces, Tamicia, and Talia. I think I got them right today.
Wow.
We love you. God bless you and enjoy your day. There's some beautiful names. I love that. Shalicia, Tilnicia, Tamicia, Talia.
Wow, it almost sounds great.
Wow. Beautiful name, Novalia. Interesting. Happy birthday to Sandy Johnson. Danica Clinton. Happy birthday goes out to Danica Clinton from your father, David Clinton, your mother, Aralee Clinton, your brother, Sergeant 301 David Clinton Jr., and sister Andrea Clinton. May God continue to bless you all the time. They're the two birthdays we have for the day.
I've got one. I've got one as well, spiritual advisor. I want to say a shout out to Brittany Thompson on her birthday. I don't know how old or how much of them birthday she done had, but I think it was also her birthday as well, and so I want to send her a special birthday shout out. So tell us, is there anything you have for us to add to this spiritual advisor before we talk a little bit about Papa?
Well, yeah, we could move on. It's just that this was a very interesting turn of events, and let's just see what happens. So obviously it appears as if Michael Pindad is steering the party in a different direction, and he's going to shed off some dead weight. Now, the reality is...
Michael is the dead weight. Michael is the dead weight.
He have the power now to decide who he can nominate. So I don't know if he'll call him dead. He got some power. He got some power.
He can end up as the... Papa ain't been good at picking leaders, you know. Papa picked Tommy. What happened? Papa picked Menace. What happened?
I believe Tommy...
Papa picked Michael. What happened?
Yeah,
we need to don't let Papa pick nobody else. And he's a Papa boy. I can tell you that right now. If Hubert Ingram and 38 Joneses run, I going with Ingram.
Okay.
And he could be 88, 98, or 108. I don't care. But the one thing I don't want Papa doing is picking no more leaders of the Free National Movement. We could agree on that?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's done horribly at that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So I also see now that we're talking about Mr. Ingram, we got the clip with Mr. Ingram. Mr. Ingram is in the news saying that the court systems, that the Justice Fritz Charles is his name? The Canadian is correct.
Let me see if I can find the story.
And that the court system is flawed, and the lawyers them wasting too much of time, and the judge coming to court late, who is just an appointed lawyer, because that's all a judge is, right? And I want to tell Mr. Ingram, right? Well, Sir Michael Barnett was Chief Justice, and Sir Michael Barnett and Mr. Ingram, I think they know one another very well. If you remember, His Learned Lordship, Sir Michael Barnett, ran for Mr. Ingram in the constituency of Fort Charlotte. So he obviously has Sir Michael's phone number, right? When did Mr. Ingram realize that there was this flaw in the court system? Who advised him of that? How long did this flaw exist?
What is his criticism, though?
That the system is flawed.
Cases,
that lawyers taking long,
yeah.
judges starting court late, and that it compromises the legal system. And I don't disagree with him. All I want to know is, when did Mr. Ingram have this epiphany?
But he has time to now. He is retired.
He been retired for almost 20 years. What you talking about? So when did he have this epiphany? Until they start spiritual advisor punishing lawyers, we will see no difference in the court system. I had the wonderful opportunity to work in a court before. Did you know that about me?
No.
I worked with Her Learned Ladyship, Madam Justice Rhonda P. Bain,
Okay.
right, as a part of her detail. And you know what I found when I was in court? That one lawyer could have matters in 3 different courts on the same day. How?
That's difficult from the manage.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
How are you over in the criminal court on a murder case, but also before this court on some family matter? How is that possible? And when you delay justice, why is there no punishment for you? Because you don't give no discount to your client. And in my mind, as I sit here, I'm thinking about the name of at least 5 lawyers that are known for that. And I guarantee you, if you ask your lawyer friends, they could give you the name of them same 5 I thinking about.
So how do you correct it?
You start to punish lawyers.
And
You charge them for whatever the value of a day of court is.
So that would change anything?
You know, you know I'm ex-military, yes?
Yeah.
The military has the military, and this is why I tell people, people often say that I think I'm in the defense force. I tell them this is how I know I'm not in the defense force. Because looking at the nominal role, I would have been a chief. And back when I was in the organization, a chief could swallow you, right? The military understands something quite succinctly, spiritual advisor. Unless you touch a man's salary, you will get no adjustment in his behavior. That's what's wrong with the public service. These salary like Ace who draw, they fix. You can't touch them. Yeah, the fella can don't come to work for 48 days.
Yeah, and that's why they behave that way.
Yeah. The fella can come to work, go on an errand for but 6 hours, come back and sign out, and you pay him the full amount of money.
Every month.
Which other profession in the world?
None.
The legal profession.
Okay.
The legal profession. The fella could, the judge could say, counsel, could you please advise the court of your convenient dates? They could take them 10 minutes to do that, my lady, counsel is looking into my calendar, my lady. My calendar is in the month of August. We in June now. We in January, mind you. So the court say, okay, August, counsel, flip, August. Counsel, I have the 13th, the 12th, the 9th, the 18th, the 21st, and the 24th. Propose 2 convenient dates. Well, your ladyship, counsel is minded to pick the 13th. The court will say, okay, counsel, the 13th, I have a 10 o'clock. Do you have a 10 o'clock? Oh, no, lady, that's not convenient. 10 o'clock is not convenient, lady. Your lady, looking at my calendar, the 13th is a Friday, your lady, or Monday, and, counsel has matters at office at 10 o'clock in the morning. Could we have a after lunch? Sure, no problem, counsel. 2 p.m., the 13th. You could bet your wife in a swingers bar. On the 13th of August, somehow, this lawyer in Tuskegee on a trip somewhere. Or before the face of a superior court. Or before the face of a court, or equal court, miles away from here.
So delays that matter.
It's the lawyers causing this. And so what I want to hear Mr. Ingram do is not tiptoe around this issue, advise the government to create some penalty for delinquent lawyers. Because that's the only way to fix it. Think about this. When I used to work in court, SA, I hear the court security here, the court clerk here, all the people in the court registry here, man, the judge here. What the little girl name who's typed things on the stenographer here.
Yeah.
The people who looking for justice here.
Right.
The only person who ain't here is the lawyer. And there is no penalty whatsoever.
Wow, they're jacking up the court system, man.
Because that's how they make money. The money is in the delay. The money is in the 1,000 adjournments. So we speed $2,500, get you before a Supreme Court, get you bail. And then we tell you things like, man, take your time, man. You want bail, don't stress yourself. Because we know we're adjourning that matter into next year. We have to stop that, and I think Justice for Charles is on to something. So I want Mr. Ingram to not teeter. And I only wouldn't accuse him of pussyfooting because I like him, so I'm not going to say that word to him. But he's teetering around this issue, and he should just come straight out and say that the Attorney General and the Chief Justice should sit down and think about how to punish the behavior of lawyers. Because they, in turn, are the keepers of the gate. The judge here, the only thing the judge is here to do is hear the facts, you know.
Yeah, I understand that.
The persons that have either offended or have been offended are here to seek justice.
Yeah, but the judge controls the court too, though.
The judge can't tell the lawyer when her calendar convenient, though. The judge can't tell the lawyer which day she free. Because remember now, it is a matter of convenience in the calendar. Which day in your calendar is, what is the word? Convenient, counsel.
Lord, what is that?
These people are waiting on their lives to go back to normal.
Yeah.
And we operating this on the convenience of the attorney. And so if we don't punish them, I say we're going to have an even greater backlog that will happen.
So that's the main issue.
Yes, that is the issue.
So, Papa, you heard what Levi Miller say?
Stop teetering around this issue. Call his learned lordship, Sir Michael Barnett, who is the, what is he now? The chairman of the legal reform, isn't it? What is he? Chairman of the something. He has a public office again. Because, you know, he's...
Oh, Michael Barnett?
Yeah, he's the only lawyer in the country that has been AG, CJ,
And
President of the Court of Appeal.
Yeah.
Nobody else has that as a record. That's Sir Michael, who is the most brilliant legal mind I have ever met. It was actually him that taught me Tan Staffel, the basic principle of economics. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch. I learned that from Sir Michael Barnett.
Okay.
His learned lordship.
So
One of the brightest people I know.
what about the current Chief Justice?
Oh, the second brightest legal mind I know.
Okay.
Who I believe would actually implement a system that penalizes lawyers. Because he seems to be very liberal. Remember, it was him that proved how safe he was that said that if you have a baby with a man and that man is a Bahamian, it don't matter if he have it with a Jamaican woman or a Haitian woman or Honduran woman.
Charles Bahamian.
That child is a Bahamian.
Okay.
That's because he's a safe man. I believe he's from the Church of God.
Are you talking about who?
His learned lordship, C. Ian Winder.
See, okay.
He's the safest judge I know. Some of them aren't safe, I can tell you that. But so Ian Winder, oh hallelujah, he's a man of God. I could feel it because for a long time, spiritual advisor, we had foreign women teething Bahamian man baby.
This is true.
Yeah, the woman say, you don't love me no more? Me I pack up my picnic and on the plane she go with the man baby that he can't ever see again.
And the child is Jamaican.
Apparently, somehow. Because I decide that I don't want to be married as a man. Because marriage is an anachronism and a one-sided contract. And a wonderful institution.
One-sided contract?
Yeah.
Which mean? The woman always win?
Yes. Next question.
That's deep.
Yeah. And it's a wonderful institution, but so is Sandilands.
Well, the same as if Donald Trump's about to change that. He ain't been on one side. Yeah, you're getting ready to sign.
But Donald Trump don't make fellas like me. Donald Trump said
rich boys. Yeah, the rich boys. You can't just walk in and say you want half.
No, I mean, the woman still can carry
especially when you wait for it.
The woman still can carry me. He do that for the rich boys. Say that I
Say,
mean.
no way.
Fellas like
half.
me, and you still gonna have a hard time.
Take your mind off half.
Yeah, so
that's interesting.
So if Mr. Ingham is serious, and then I want to be very serious about this because the court actually decides the direction of people's lives. You can't be having court cases that no one hear in 3 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Especially murder cases. You can't be having court cases, land matters, and things of the sort that take 3 years to adjudicate. That just can't be right. Not if you're living in a lawful society where people follow the rule of law, etc.
So this blame with the court system and the state is in, it lies at the feet of the lawyers.
Of lawyers. And until we start digging our hand in their back pocket, they will not change their ways. They will not mend their ways. I assure you of it. Until every single time a lawyer doesn't appear before the face of a court, he is charged for wasting a day of the court. And I mean, by day of the court, I mean the salary of the clerk, the salary of the security, the salary of the registrar person that would pull his file, the salary of the judge's secretary, the salary of the judge, and the salary of the judge driver. That sounds like a full day of court. Until we charge judges for that, lawyers for that, they will forever be booking themselves in 4 and 5 court. You book August 31st as the day, 30 days of September, April, June, and November. All the rest are 31 except February. Yes. So you book August 31st in your calendar. What the hell you mean? You in London? How you get there? You ain't know court was today?
May have forgotten.
You can't. Well, you know how we can fix that? Don't forget no more.
May have forgotten.
Stop forgetting. You just forget too much. Huh? That's how you fix it. And if you fix it that way, Papa, if they fix it that way, watch the backlog. Because creating more courts without changing the culture, this is what psychology suggests you do. If you do not change the psychology of the people and all you do is transplant them into a new society, they call that the psychology of society. I think that's what it's called. If you take the people and transplant them without reconditioning their minds, they will turn that place into the place you brought them from. And that's all adding new courts will do. So, His Lordship Fritz Charles, is that his name? I don't want to get his name wrong. He talking good. Give him 2 years, they got him buying out too. He could be buying out. Anyway, there's one more thing I want to get to before we get to opening the lines.
Yeah.
I see Michael Alkides, the Minister for Economics, along with Michael Darville, the Minister responsible for Health, clearing down all this land over here by NIB, Spiritual Advisor. You saw it?
NIB.
Yeah. There's a big parcel of
A
land.
clinic is going there.
A clinic is going there.
Yeah. A clinic is going there.
And, I mean, okay, yay, right? A new clinic, right? I hope, it is my hope, that they make that clinic specifically for gunshot victims.
We
If
have
PMH is-
that much?
Spiritual Advisor, where you live?
Yeah, I don't live here, yeah. I mean,
them killing 100 here.
to actually build a clinic to deal with,
Why not?
that means embolden them to start shooting more people.
Why would you keep carrying gunshot victims into PMH like the people in there ain't already at capacity? So you could create a special gunshot clinic, or let's don't call it that because that will give Pookie them too much glory.
Well,
call it a
trauma.
extreme trauma clinic
Okay.
with an operating theater, 2 surgeons, right? If Dwayne Sands don't run in Long Island and win and become leader of the Free National Movement, you could make him like the chief advisor, right? And because if anything happened, if something happened to me on this show, Spiritual Advisor, you make sure you call Dwayne Sands. Don't call nobody else.
Okay.
Okay. But if you do that there, you could take the strain off of all of the other lesser traumatic experiences that happen in PMH. You could take that off of PMH.
So
and then
PMH
maybe
or
the experience
A&E?
wouldn't- A&E.
Yeah,
Say
actually,
A&E.
that's the first entrance. Accident emergency.
Yeah. And so you make that the gunshot clinic, and I think that would be a brilliant idea. Now, the thing I actually want to get to, take me to the clip, producer, please. The thing I actually want to get to is, I noticed over the last 6 or 7 months, the Progressive Liberal Party has gone on a cut down every pine tree in sight campaign. You notice that?
They're going after.
They're clearing down all of the bushy areas.
I've seen them extending verges back to maybe 6 or 7 feet. I don't know if they can.
Marathon Road, they cleared down the whole thing there. NIB,
yeah,
they cleared down the whole thing there. Over here on JFK, they cleared down the whole thing there going towards
Look,
Gladstone.
the marathon, if you're traveling from east to west and you're about to get onto the highway, you're talking about that area just next to Solomon's there on the left hand side.
Yes.
Oh, so the whole thing is cleared down.
Dale Fitzpatrick is the name of the justice. My apologies for getting that wrong. I'm not trying to disrespect his lordship. Dale Fitzpatrick is his name. So I saw Michael Alkides and Michael Darville shaking hands right here while they was cleaning down the pine trees, right? And I say to myself that I like the PLP and their vigor or zeal to work in this administration. What I will say to you though is, they like to do it so lazily. Donald Trump is back. Donald Trump said he don't care nothing but no global warming. Global his foot. Yes? So if Donald Trump don't care nothing but global warming, that means we going back to coal energy in some places. Correct? You agree?
More than likely, yeah.
So if we got all these pine trees we pushing down, right?
Wow, this is a bad day for us.
Yeah. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us through the break. Levan Miller here, the spiritual advisor. Bradley Roll is here trying to keep me safe. I can have the time and watch the spiritual advisor because I obviously missing that cue.
We get it.
What I was saying was that I think it was maybe 8 years ago, or there's about, my good friend Fian Thompson vehemently opposed my suggestion that we should start logging in the Bahamas and selling pine to America. The Bahamas is only populated with 500,000 people, give or take, that live on 12% of the land mass of the country. If you go into Andros, if you go into Abaco, if you go into Grand Bahama, what you will find there is that there are copious amounts of pine forests. If you go in Nassau, I didn't even know all these pine trees was here until the PLB started pushing them down. All I'm saying is we're going to heat this stuff up in a landfill that will possibly combust into flame, rather than having a company strategically take out the pine, then push down the shrub, and then look for a place to sell the pine on the open market. Okay. That'd just be so much better. That's what I wanted to say before the break. Anyway, I just checked the time, spiritual advisor. I think there may be some calls on the line. You go ahead and give them the number and see if anybody else want to call me out and case me, right? Yeah. I can put up my fugitive picture for you all one more time before we leave. I will make sure you all got the right fugitive picture. All right? Give us the number, please, spiritual.
We got any eyes, producer? Do we have to do any? Yeah, let's do.
All right, let's go to that.
What about Tanya? We have Tanya on the line today?
Is Tanya there?
Okay, let us know if Tanya called in. So, are your dogs hungry and tired of low-quality food? Give them the best at Modernistic. We carry all the top brands. Taste of the Wild, Diamond Naturals, Victor, Anukshuk, all at the lowest prices in town. If you're on a budget, we've got 50-pound bags starting at just $49. And for limited time, buy any large bag of dog food and get a $10 coupon redeemable on select dog toys and treats. If you can't make it in, shop online at www.modernisticgarden.com and we'll deliver right to your door. Your pet deserves quality, your wallet deserves savings. Shop in store or shop online today. Hurry, offer won't last. All right, so...
Tanya's on the line, no? Good, but give us the phone line, spiritual
All right, so the
advisor.
line's officially open. You can call us 323-7775 is the number to call, 698-0775 and 698-0776. Don't forget, when you call us, please, as always, we try to get you to turn your radios or your TVs down so we don't get that feedback delay in the background. So feel free to call us. The numbers are 323-7775, 698-0775, 698-0776. Do we have any calls yet, producer?
Good.
So we don't call, so go ahead.
So, spiritual advisor, you and I spoke yesterday, and I told you about my good MP, right? Who, I know how they can do it, but he can be tough to beat. I got a call yesterday after the show that say, I can't say Bacchus could win no more. And I have to listen to that person's spiritual advisor, so I can't say Bacchus will win no more, as long as I'm on this show, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know if you heard in the news today, there was a conviction brought against the person that was responsible for the young lady that was found floating in the pools about 3 years ago, right? The day hasn't passed yet. And my member of parliament, who I saw sitting in the parliament today, has already issued a statement. I plan to read some of it for you to hear it. But we have a call. Let's go to the call. Good afternoon, caller. This is Tanya?
This is Tanya. How are you?
Hi, Tanya. How are you?
I am fabulous. And, you know, we over here at Shop Smart always listening to Freedom March.
Okay,
thank
great.
you, Jesus. So what do you have for us today, Tanya?
I just want to continue to remind all of the women, them, the children, them, and all the listeners of Freedom March that Shop Smart is still having the 5 for 25 on the clothing. Mr. Miller, spiritual advisor, you can come into Shop Smart and get 5 pieces of clothing for only $25. That is how you are bougie on a budget.
Any of the clothing green, Tanya, because, you know, from the day on, I want to be dressed as an FNA.
What is a FNA?
That's the new party.
Oh.
That's propaganda, Tanya.
Propaganda, okay.
Yeah.
We can leave the propaganda, but yes, Mr. Miller, we have lots of green. I thought maybe that was for the comments, but, you know. Yeah, you can come in for your grade.
Good stuff. So all of y'all who need clothes to be a part of the new party, go see Tanya over there at Shop Smart. What else you got, Tanya?
Well, we still have 20% off store-wide, and I just want them to know that it is on all of the items to do your spring cleaning, to fix up around your house, around the yard, all of the decor you need to change in the house, whether it's your bedspreads or your sheet sets, whether it's your rugs or comforters, your wall mirrors, whatever you want to do, however you want to fix it up, especially if you need to get those new pot sets, the dishes sets. Shop Smart has got you covered, and we've got them 20% off.
Oh, wow. Are you still working on those bunnies for us?
We still have the bunnies, and the bunnies are 25% off.
Spiritual advisor, they go
We
on.
have pre-made Easter baskets, and these Easter baskets are 50% off, and the people have been buying them in the 50s.
Wow. Don't sell all the bunnies now, because, you know, I can need one and spiritual advisor need two.
Well, we've got the bunnies here for you.
Good.
We've also have pet toys, pet clothes for the Easter season, and those items are also 50% off. Shop Smart is the home of the smart shopper.
Good stuff. Tell us where you're located.
Okay, Mr. Miller, you know, I've been perfecting this Bohemianese
hallelujah.
direction.
Let me hear it.
You reach the Wolf Road, turn onto Marquis Street, go straight.
Aha.
Down two corners on your left-hand side.
Uh-huh.
It's the big yellow building.
Aha.
If you go three corners, you're going too far.
That's right. And what you must do?
Turn back.
All right. Good. See that?
Right.
You know exactly where that building is.
It'll be
now.
on the right. If
It'll
you turn
be on
back.
the right.
There you go.
It has Shop Smart,
Yeah.
department store in the
You
building.
can't
Yeah.
miss it.
You can't miss it.
That's what you have to say.
Okay.
To end all Bahamian directions, you have to end it by saying you can't miss
You
it.
can't miss it.
Oh, right. You can't miss it. And
Indeed.
we're here Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
Give us your number.
Our numbers here at the store, 698-1051 or 698-1052. Or they can send us a message on the WhatsApp line. That's 813-4397.
All right.
Thank you so much, Tanya.
You're welcome, and I look forward to seeing you and Mr. Miller, whether you're looking for the yellow, the red, or the green clothes. They all 5 for 25.
Oh, hallelujah.
We're coming to see you, Tanya. Make no mistake about that.
Yeah.
Thank you. We got a call?
Welcome to Freedom March. Call you live.
Good evening, gentlemen. Mr. Miller,
Yes.
I am grateful to the government for reducing VAT in the food store from 10% to 5%. However, I haven't noticed the difference as yet. But every little count.
Yeah, Ms. Simonet from the company is saying that, you know, it's a mammoth task. Get them a couple of days. They'll have all the tags changed out. They were trying to figure out whether to adjust the prices on each individual item or whether to adjust it on the face of the shelves. It is something that requires all hands on deck, and they're actually still actively working towards it. I think I read that in the news today.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would hope that the government would consider or move VAT completely of food and medicine.
Okay.
Mr. Miller, Aaron Lewis is a man of words and not of deeds. And he is just like a garden full of weeds.
Okay.
Remember when Lincoln and them had the demonstration on Bay Street?
Which one now? Because you know Lincoln has come out on Bay Street once a month to get his coat suit tear off him.
Listen to my point. When Lincoln and them had the demonstration on Bay Street, he was the only F&M who was mixed up with them on Bay Street,
Okay.
like Count Salad.
Okay.
And the F&M them should have figured out him from then.
Yeah, but he would have to have political collateral. They didn't count it because he doesn't have political collateral.
Okay, last thing,
Uh-huh.
Mr. Miller. The member of parliament for North Abaco,
Yeah.
Craig Cornish,
Uh-huh.
was found not guilty
Uh-huh.
of raping and making that threat to the lady
Uh-huh.
or his former girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
And I believe he got off the hook because of a weak and lousy defense lawyer.
Well, I mean, I imagine the court heard the facts.
Let me finish and then you can come after that. Let me clear my point.
Mm-hmm.
Who, in my opinion, was only babysitting while his client was terrorized and questioned at length.
Mm.
And I was wondering if he didn't play a role as a double agent. And throughout the whole trial, Mr. Cornish only had 2 words to say. That is, not guilty,
Mm-hmm.
which I have some doubts of him being innocent.
Okay. Well, the court has no doubt. The court.
Hold on. But I know one thing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
God knows and sees everything.
Oh, praise the Lord.
And may God save the leader of the woman them.
You take in our caller.
Thank you very much, caller.
323-7775. Welcome to Freedom March Call. You're live.
Hey, good morning, Spiritual. Good afternoon, Spiritual Advisor Levon.
Hey, buddy.
Listen to me, Levon Miller.
Present.
You are a political prophet. I listened to you from the show started, and you making, I don't know how serious Spiritual Advisor is taking you, but you're making a lot of good points.
Well, I thank
The
you very
next
much.
one I think would form will go with Lincoln Bean, would be that same Crazy Thompson.
Yeah, but they can't go with Lincoln Bean. If the coalition of independents are a coalition of independents and not a coalition of independents.
If you are independent, you can't be able to coalition.
That's my point. Yeah, you can't get me nowhere because all us time we just happen to be walking in the same direction.
Yeah, but listen to me now.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to carry Crazy Thompson with them, then Lincoln Bean will become the chairman of the party.
And that would naturally make sense, which would make him a smarter politician than Hansel and Gretel.
The chairman them like to talk.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But I can tell you this. I hear you talking about the what do you call it? The FNA?
The FNA. That's what I will be known as from the day on.
That will
An
never
FNA.
kick off the ground. Because ministers can never get Ronald McCartney and Rambert Wells in the same room to agree.
But for power.
That's the problem right
But
there.
for power, caller, they might.
Boy, trust me. But that would make a big difference. If they were to form a political party now, you might just put on your yellow shirt and let's go on Fondant Road by the PLB headquarters.
I don't know. Let me tell you what I want you to do, caller. I want you to go see how much.
The PLB will be an automatic.
I want you to go see how much Granville McCartney declared the last time he ran. See what.
Granville McCartney was declaring Moscow their money.
See what. Well, I can't tell you who money. I can tell you what he declared. I want you to go see what Dr. Minnis declared.
Well, Dr. Minnis can't let change.
And all I want to say is with that amount of money, you're talking about a former prime minister. You're talking about he'll probably inherit 1/3 of his last cabinet. And all they need to do is get a couple of the rabble-rousers from the COI who already just come to work for free anyhow.
Mm.
And you have a perfect formula for a probing party, you know.
Remember I tell you this, Levon Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Remember I tell you this. Me and your dad used to drive buses together.
I know this voice.
Remember I tell you this. Every constituency that has 3 or more members of parliament,
Mm-hmm.
or 3 or more candidates, the PLP win. Everyone.
Wow. All right.
Every constituency that has more than 3 candidates, the PLP automatically wins.
Wow. All right. Well, I know the voice. Good to hear from you, buddy.
All right? Yeah,
Yes,
good.
sir.
Okay.
All right. Get to the number again, Spiritual.
323-7775. Welcome to Freedom March Call. You're live. Go ahead, call. You're live.
Hello?
Hi.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
This radio is up.
Turn your radio down, caller.
My radio is down. TV is down.
Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good
Hi.
afternoon.
Spiritual advisor, how you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you, sir.
It seems like you are sick.
Sorry?
It seems like you are sick.
Like I'm
And
sick?
you're not showing no interest to Mr. Miller. What do you say?
No, that's how it seems to you. So go ahead with your point.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm called to say. And one more thing I got for you. You laugh too much on the show.
Producer, let's go to the next caller, man. I'm sick and tired of him, man. All right, listen, let's bar him from calling the show, okay? 'Cause
Oh, boy.
I figure he was doing some mischief.
Oh, boy.
Listen, there are times, the Spirit don't strive with me always, okay?
Yeah.
And please, don't do this.
Yeah, my granddad used to say, God don't walk with man always.
Oh, God.
God don't walk with man always. You got more calls?
Welcome to Freedom March caller.
Hello.
You're live, caller.
Yes. Could you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. What I want to tell him, this is verifiable fact. This is verifiable fact. R.M. Lewis didn't just pick up and leave the party. The problem is they had a meeting down in Grand Bahama.
Mm-hmm.
And the people in Grand Bahama, his constituency, said they don't want him no more.
Oh.
If they come there, they can lose the seat.
Wow.
So that was he made that move on them to make them look bad. But a lot of people there know it's the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
You watch and see, he will never win that seat, whichever party he runs.
Yeah.
All right.
You might be
Okay.
right. You might be right.
Well, I want to say this. I want to say this publicly as well, since I consider him a righteous man. I was in Grand Bahama last week, spiritual advisor. I personally believe that the Reverend Frederick McAlpine could comfortably win Central Grand Bahama.
Yeah.
I believe that.
I've
with all
got a
my
lot
heart.
honestly, I have a lot of texts on my phone
Sure.
that says that Hiram Lewis is a lousy MB.
Man, don't say that about them on TV, because then they can say we having political mischief,
yeah, but
spiritual. The people just call you
But
on the
I
break
have
say
the
we having
facts.
political mischief.
I have the facts.
Boy.
I have 7 texts on my
Oh,
phone
boy. And you
from
sure the
people.
PLB ain't
They're
paying
from
you?
Grand Bahama. These people say,
Oh
listen.
boy.
We got
got
3
calls.
callers
Let's
waiting.
take some calls.
Welcome to Freedom March caller.
Afternoon. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, you're live.
Good afternoon, Mr. Butler. Good afternoon, Spiritual Advisor.
Yes, ma'am.
Hope all is good with y'all.
Absolutely.
I would never want to call and put no one's business down. However, I was in ShopSmart today. Those prices, doesn't matter if it's 25% off, they are ridiculous.
Oh Lord.
The prices?
The prices.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll talk to Tanya. We'll
We'll go
talk
and
to
see
Tanya.
Tanya. We'll go and see Tanya about it.
We'll talk to Tanya. Welcome to Freedom March caller. You're live.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Miller and Spiritual. How y'all doing?
Good afternoon, Anton. What's happening?
I'm doing okay, thank you.
Great.
Said it again.
Good, good.
Good to hear from you.
Good afternoon to the nation.
Yeah.
I call to get into this political mischief discussion, right?
Okay. What's happening? What's your take on this now?
See, the FNM can't play two sides of the fence on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are talking about togetherness. They're talking about moving on one accord, but yet they're still shedding members of parliament, right?
Right.
And they can't come behind making the claim that the constituents of the constituency of Central Grand Bahama did not want the FNM member of parliament, right? Simply because he crossed the floor and went over to an independent coalition, right? Because if they had some serious problem with him, and if they thought he was such a non-performing member of parliament, they could have demanded that he relieve that FNM seat, and we could have had a by-election.
No, Antoine. You know better than that. You know they would never do that.
They
You
ain't
know
do that.
You know that would make zero political sense.
They ain't do that.
I'm simply saying that. I'm simply saying that makes the point that only in hindsight they're now bringing to the floor that the people of Central Grand Bahama had such a serious issue with him claiming that he was a non-performing member of parliament, right? However, he still sat in that seat comfortably, and he still made up one of the 7 seats that the FNM currently holds.
Right. And that's why they couldn't take that route, Anton. Think about this. The FNM didn't take that route with Miriam Emanuel with an overwhelming majority, right? When the people started complaining about her and Michael, the FNM had an overwhelming majority, and they permitted her to remain. What would it benefit the Free National Movement to contest?
I'm not suggesting, Miller, that the move would make sense.
Right.
I'm only demonstrating the hypocrisy in the FNM, right?
Sure.
At the end of the day, they're all about touting that they are moving in a position of democracy, that they respect indifference within their party. But when it comes time to display that, they're not displaying that to the country. And so how do you believe someone who is saying one thing but demonstrating something different within their party? At the end of the day, I want you all to consider this as political fodder, mischief, or whatever you want to think about. It's not only Lewis, right, in that party that is having trouble within the FNM currently.
Crazy
and in addition to that, you still have the Minister faction, who is very much well and alive.
Yeah, we understand
in Parliament today.
Who Iram is a part of.
In addition to that,
you get one more addition, Anton. Go on.
Not only those. I don't know if y'all can make a lady.
We can hear you.
You still have the Minister faction, who will follow suit with him, whatever direction he goes. Outside of Parliament, you still have persons who sat in the cabinet of the FNM under a minister's leadership, who were still loyal to him, inclusive of none other than the Deputy Prime Minister and many others who sat in that cabinet, along with ministers.
They called me to curse me out and tell me that ain't true. They called me to curse me out, Anton. Anton, I can let you go. They called me to curse me out and tell me that ain't true. I told the spiritual advisor the same thing, and the people, they vehemently oppose my position, spiritual advisor.
But you do have a point, Anton, and we appreciate your contribution. We'll talk. Welcome to Freedom March Call. You're live.
Hey, hi, spiritual advisor. I'm Mr. Miller.
Hello.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Good. This is Barry.
Okay, I just thought, like, a problem with Bahamas there, right?
Oh.
Day before last, I went to my son's funeral in West Palm Beach, right?
Okay.
And just listen to this. I'm a senior citizen. When coming back through Fort Lauderdale, didn't have no baggage, just my funeral clothes, right? Senior citizen. And Bahamas Air charged me $95 for 2 little pieces of baggage, right? So I told him, I say, I do not have a debit card. And you know what they want me to do? If I didn't have a debit card, I'd have leave my stuff. And I think it is wrong. Bahamas Air is a Beam airline, and it's there for senior citizens. We all don't have computers in our houses. And Bahamas Air, they're not really doing anything to the senior citizen right now because, I find it terrible. That was in Fort Lauderdale. And it's a good thing my sister was there that had a debit card. Otherwise, I would have had to leave my stuff. I've been to my son's funeral, and that is very bad. Chester Cooper and Brave Davis, on the government behalf, they are not working with the senior citizens. We all not educated like that to get computer system what they're doing with, and they need to get a better job to deal with senior citizens.
Okay.
Because we all are not educated. We come from whence we came, and I sit down in that airport and I cry.
Wow.
Because I didn't have the debit card, and they tell me I had to leave my things because I didn't have the debit card.
Wow. We're so sorry about that.
Yes, and I find it very embarrassing.
Wow.
And
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I don't know, Brave Davis, Chester Cooper, and this whole team, they need to go see Bahamas Air, supposed to be a Bahamian airline, and they're not looking out for the Bahamian citizen. I'm a senior.
Yes, ma'am.
I had the cash, and they don't take cash.
Oh, wow. Be sure you set them. We'll do our best to see what they can do to correct that, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mother.
I feel the same way, especially with these points that have that nonsense.
We're coming to the end of the show.
Cash. Anyway, so spiritual advisor.
Yeah, it's been an exciting one.
It is an exciting show.
Until tomorrow.
I give me 30 seconds. I just want to say that my MP posted a wonderful piece on this thing today.
Really?
I think everybody should go look at it for the lady that died. And shout out to Sudden Shores, by the way, spiritual advisor. So tomorrow, you'll join me here again.
Absolutely. If the
Radio
Lord's
on
will.
Freedom March. Thank you so much for joining us. If you were able to hear us on radio, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again here tomorrow, right on Freedom March on ILTV Studios.
Good night, everybody.